With new leaked images and information about the UCS Death Star, I think it's finally time to determine if this set is going to be worth that $1,000 price tag, and if it's worth picking up on day one release. We have a lot to talk about from the set, the minifigures, the gift with purchase, as well as some other information. So without further ado, let's get right on into this video. Releasing on October 1st of 2025, this set has a retail price of $999.99 for a whopping 9,023 pieces. Now, this is being the biggest LEGO Star Wars set ever. The set with the most minifigures and the highest piece count for LEGO Star Wars has brought in a lot of attention and a lot of hype around this set, as well as a lot of critiques, as we saw with some of our previously leaked images. And now we have even more images that came out from a listing from eBay about a bunch of other photos and information about this set. And going back to the basic kind of look and build of this set, being a little bit lackluster, especially when it comes down to the size. Now, starting off, I have to say all of the dioramas still do look very good, and they've definitely grown on me as I've had these leaked images over time. You have some really cool stuff like the throne room, as well as having the hangar bay might be my personal favorite, and all of the other rooms that make it up in between. But there definitely is a lack of content when it comes to this, as well as just having all of the rooms so closely together, and it doesn't really feel like it is a $1,000 set. Now, this becomes very apparent when we look towards some of these new images, especially on the side of the box that shows this Death Star from its side profile, and let's just say it is a bit disappointing, especially because if you look below, you can see this is a 1-to-1 ratio. This is the exact size of what the Death Star looks from the side, and it's just kind of baffling to see how small this is and how sad it is just to see one tiny little sliver of the Death Star, because if you're paying that $1,000 premium, a lot of people were expecting to get the premium version of the Death Star and not just one little slice. And that has to be my biggest issue with this Death Star. I feel like it's just not giving us that value for $1,000. But as we look a little bit deeper back to the inside, we still do have a lot of fun detailing with all of our different rooms. I think there are a lot of very cool things going on here and tons of detailing. Now, there is a very sizable sticker sheet with this set that I saw. I'll see if I can find the images again, but the sticker sheet is insanely big. So that is one thing to note, but given the fact it has 9,000 pieces and a lot of detail, that was kind of inevitable. But when it comes to a UCS set, you'd ideally want a majority of printed pieces, but that is definitely not the case here. And love them or hate them, the stickers do add a good amount of detail. Ideally, they'd be printed, but is what it is at the end of the day, especially when it comes down to all of our different rooms with the different control panels and other stuff like that, having those stickers instead of printing. But I will say the overall build, while being a little bit lackluster, definitely has a lot going for it with all of the different rooms. But the next thing I want to take a look at are all of our minifigures. And now that we have another image of all of them on the top of the box, I think there definitely are some very good minifigures, don't get me wrong. However, I'm still a little bit disappointed in the main thing that I'm disappointed in is the lack of dual molded legs for a lot of these minifigures, especially the officers. Now, I understand like someone like Director Krennic as well as Galen Erso wouldn't necessarily have the dual molded legs. Well, actually, I think Galen Erso definitely could have benefited from them, but mostly all of our normal officers should have had dual molded legs to show off the boots, and that's something that we didn't see, and it's something that we saw in a $55 Dual Imperidia set, but we're not seeing in a $1,000 UCS Death Star. Now, I will say for the actual Hot Tub Stormtrooper having that little like Speedo or swim trunks on, that does look to be dual molded, which looks great. I just think that that should have been the case for the rest of our officers. But I will say the lineup of minifigures here is actually pretty good. You're getting quite a few Stormtroopers, as well as all of your officers, your Royal Guards, and people to man the Death Star. Most of the highlights being, you know, that Stormtrooper in his little bathing suit, as well as Director Krennic, Galen Erso, as well as all of the other cool ones like the Imperial Dignitary, and then your main cast of characters. However, I will say, you know, you get the main cast, but when it comes down to the detailing of the minifigures, it isn't really there, especially going back to the Imperial Dignitary. I feel like, especially with the skirt, there should have been some sort of detailing there, and I feel like when you're paying such a premium for this set, there definitely is a lack of detail in comparison to that premium. Now, taking a look at some other angles of the interior of our box, first of all, we have the actual blueprints of the Death Star in its realistic form, which is very cool to see all the different things that make this up and having a little like kind of slice into it and being able to see all of the components that make that up. But even cooler is when you remove that part, you can see this kind of art of Grand Moff Tarkin as well as the Death Star, which does look very good. I love the drawing style, and we even have his, you know, famous quote that is, "Fear will keep the local systems in line. Fear of this battle metal station, and it does look very cool. And it's definitely, I would have loved if this was, I don't know, some sort of poster or something like that and not just a part of the box, but it's definitely a welcome inclusion. Now, when you open up into the actual box, it's separated into 3 separate boxes. I'm assuming each box could be built separately, and we do have Darth Vader, kind of the silhouette of him in the background of the Death Star. That does look pretty cool. Once again, though, would have made a sick poster, but I do love that they do put all of this detailing into the box, but it does kind of bring the question, if they're putting all the detailing into the box, they could have added a little bit more detail into the minifigures. And then we once again just have some other images of the box that we had already seen, like the back with some cutaway scenes, this side with that little sliver that we talked about, as well as I think my favorite part of the whole box has to be this kind of the, I think it would be the left side of the box where you have the realistic look of the Death Star, and then all of the really cool kind of space scene in the background. I kind of wish this was what the whole background of the box looked like rather than just the black kind of backgrounds, because it does look a little bit, I'm not a fan of the black boxes. I would love if they had some more character in them like the side of the box has, but I do still think that that does look very good. And now that kind of does it for the actual box and the other contents of the Death Star. And while it is a little bit lackluster, I think the next thing that is worth taking a look at is the Gift With Purchase, as we now have a lot more information regarding it. And our Gift With Purchase with the $1,000 Death Star is set 40771, the TIE Fighter with Imperial Hanger Rack. Now this has 236 pieces, and it will come with 2 Stormtroopers as well as 1 TIE Fighter pilot. And this is, well, it's going to be a very small TIE Fighter that will be able to fit into the hangar, which, you know, I guess is a good thing. And we do actually have an image of our TIE pilot, which does look very well detailed with the arm printing as well as the printing on the torso and the helmet, looking very nice. But I just have to say, this is a pretty lackluster Gift With Purchase. Now don't get me wrong, it makes a ton of sense to get a TIE Fighter because it's definitely something that is missing from the Death Star, because we get the Imperial Shuttle instead, and it's nice to have a TIE Fighter that's going to be compatible with the Death Star. It's just not what everyone was expecting. Everyone was super hyped looking toward the Death Star and what the Gift With Purchase was going to be. Some people thought it was going to be something like a Darth Vader's lightsaber. Other people thought that it would be the actual hot tub for the Stormtroopers, getting some more of those minifigures, and then to find out that it's just a puny little TIE Fighter build was disappointing to say the least. I still think, like I said, this has some stuff going for it. Definitely makes sense to be getting a TIE Fighter that will coincide with the hangar bay of the Death Star. It's just a little bit disappointing. And looping back to the TIE Fighter minifigure, definitely looks great with that arm printing being the highlight. I just feel like there is a lot more to be desired here, and a Gift With Purchase only having 236 pieces for a $1,000 barrier just is a little bit disappointing, kind of looking like it's going to be some sort of microfighter build, which is disappointing to say the least, but still does, you know, have a couple of redeeming qualities. I would have wished that the 2 Stormtroopers were a different minifigure, as we are already getting quite a few Stormtroopers in the Death Star, but still is an interesting Gift With Purchase, and I am excited to see the images. Now on to the whole point of this video. Is it worth the $1,000 price tag? And now that we have all of this different information, I think it's finally a good time that we can make this decision. And to be honest, I still don't think that this set is worth that $1,000 price tag. I feel like looking toward the quality of the build as well as the amount and the quality of the minifigures, it's just not adding up to $1,000, especially when if you were to go buy this day one, the Gift With Purchase isn't that enticing to me. There's really nothing alluring me and drawing me in, because when you look at it, you could really just part the TIE Fighter together if you really want it. The Stormtroopers are going to be the same old Stormtroopers, and then the TIE Pilot is a nice one, but still, it's not like it is some crazy exclusive minifigure, but still it doesn't really draw me in to want to buy it day one, especially at that $1,000 price tag. So if my suggestion to you is, if you want the set, go out and buy it. I'm not trying to tell anyone not to buy this set. At the end of the day, it's your decision, but I think it would definitely be in the smarter realm to wait for this to go on sale. With a lot of our UCS sets, we've seen them go like 15-20% off within the year that they release. So getting this Death Star at 15-20%, like 20% off of $1,000 is $800. That means you were saving $200 on this Death Star. So I feel like waiting for it to go on that sale is definitely going to be a good thing to see. Even if it's 15% off, that's still saving $150. So I feel like waiting to see this set go on sale is definitely going to be the move. Now, to be full transparent with you guys, this is a set that I am thinking about buying on day one, but the reason that I'm going to be buying it on day one is because there is a lot of content that I have planned to be made with it, as well as the fact that I can sell it as well as write off it on my taxes, because it would be used for some sort of content. And while I have a whole list of content that I want to use it for, as well as the fact that I will be able to recuperate some of that cost through the videos and the ad revenue that is made off of those videos, but that can't be said the same for most people. But I do think that this is a pretty cool set. I think it is a good set objectively. I just don't think it is a good set at that $1,000 price tag. So I don't think that I could recommend you guys go and buy this one on day one. Now, I know a lot of people are very excited for this set and have been saving for it. And if it's something that you are very excited and passionate about, I say go buy it. If it's going to make you happy, if you're going to hold on to it, but I really don't think that it is worth that $1,000 price tag at the end of the day. But that is going to do it for this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this set, and let me know if you guys think it is worth that $1,000 price tag. And if it's a set that you are looking to buy, let me know what price you would be thinking about buying into it. How much would this set have to go on sale for you guys to buy it, or are you going to buy it on day one for $1,000? I'm very curious, so please let me know. And thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all stay safe, and thank you for the recent support on all of the videos. Sorry for the lack of content, me being back at school, so I have a lot less time, but thank you all nonetheless. Stay safe. Drew signing out.